Yo, 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 what is up, everybody? Welcome to the Payoff Pitch presented by Fantasy Phenom. I'm Kyle. Mike is asleep. He's got work in the morning. So I'm going to go ahead and do the show solo tonight. Very, very, very good night for me, and day, and morning, however you want to put it. In the early, absolutely destroyed absolutely destroyed what I was doing with my buy-in. I finished in the top. I remember it was. I played a ton of double ups. I cashed all of those, just destroyed them. And then I cashed in GPPs. I had an A stack. Who else did I had? I tried a giant stack that didn't work. That was one that didn't work. Let me get my lines. I'll show you. Oh, I stacked the Rangers in the early, and I put a couple people onto them in the group in River. Yo, that Rangers stack. Vegas again, man. Vegas again. Put me on the Rangers, man. Robinson Chirinos hit that home run. I missed out on that sac fly too. We had, it's probably better that happened, huh? Because it wouldn't have gone to extras. So that was awesome. How about that Mets or the Braves starting pitcher, Sean Newcomb? Shout out to Clint, man. Shout out to Clint and Mike. Both of these guys put me on this Sean Newcomb kid. He'd only given up 8 home runs in all of his minor league starts, if I remember what Clint was saying correctly. And so those guys were spot on about this kid. He was 4,400 on FanDuel. 4,400. You can get any bat you want. I actually left 4K on the table, and I cashed in there very, very early. So we talked about that last night, whether that was going to be that slate. So it was a beautiful night, man. If you didn't stack the Yankees in the main, I feel sorry for you. That was the stack to have. Vegas, again, came through on that, man. Vegas told us to play Yankees. And again, I know. I'm working on it, guys. I'm not hiding anything from you, I promise. I'm just trying to figure out where all the research is, how to correctly piece it together and do that. I'm actually working on a PowerPoint presentation. I was working on one earlier, how to put it all together and teach you guys how to do it. And also, if you guys know who Rudy Huertas is, I believe is how you say his last name. I'm sorry, Rudy, if you're watching and I destroyed it. This dude does a lot of this Vegas stuff as well, so shout out to him. He knows his Vegas movement. So I hope you guys all had a wonderful, wonderful night as well, and day and early, all of it. We got another big early slate in the morning, and then the main. So let's see what that is, just so I have my numbers correct. The main slate tomorrow is 8 games from 105 to 220. And then they're going to come out with other slates. Obviously, we have games from 405. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 405 games, and then an 808 game. So I'd imagine we'll have an 8-game main, 7-game late is what they'll call it. So, yo, Rudy is in the stream. What's up, Rudy? Yeah, Rudy's a good guy, man. If you guys need help, he does a little package as well. Can reach out to him. I'm sure he'll help you guys out. So me and him have been talking all night actually about how to use this for parlays. I won a 3-team parlay today. Nothing big. I'm just testing strategies, right? I mean, I would have loved to have bet more, but I would have kicked myself if I would have bet a ton and lost on a testing strategy. So, all right, we got Baltimore and New York tomorrow. Tanaka might not be the starting pitcher. Mike was talking about there was a guy coming up. Yep, all right, there we go. It is going to be Chad Green. I don't know if he's in FanDuel, so it has switched. Let's find out. Tanaka. Let's see if his stats are... It looks like we do have his stats. Beautiful. That's an easy switch. And hold on 1 second. I think Mike is going to hop on the stream. It looks like he is awake. So, anyone play golf DFS? Yo, Jeff, if you are interested in some golf DFS, buddy, we offer that in the River Group. We got guys breaking down pro panels, spreadsheets, projections, all that stuff in there. Yeah, Tanaka's going to get the extra rest day. He does. He does a lot better on extra rest. So, we'll see. Do they play tomorrow? Yankees play, well, on the next day. Sorry, not tomorrow. They do, though. He'll be in LA, so that'll be an interesting play against an LA team that hot and cold. We'll see how that works. But a guard against Chad Green. Long reliever. I'm expecting this to be a bullpen game. Yankees have one of the better bullpen teams, or one of the better bullpens in the league. So I still don't think I attack the Yankees tomorrow, especially on an 8-game slate. I think there's better spots. However, we can go right back to a Yankee stack against Kevin Gausman. This guy has not been good. The entire Baltimore Orioles staff has not been good. I attack again tomorrow. This Yankees team is red hot. They have been seemingly all year, man. Brett Gardner, Aaron Hicks. Brett Gardner didn't do as much today, but Aaron Hicks double. Aaron Judge, I believe he hit a home run today. Matt Holliday hit a home run. Starlin Castro hit a home run. Gary Sanchez hit a home run. Didi Gregorius hit a home run. Chris Carter got a couple RBIs. Chase Headley, I think, got a walk. So cool. But you had 7 guys in this lineup homer today? Go right back to him tomorrow. And I don't care if they're chalk. Sometimes you just got to ride that chalk, because if it goes off and you don't have it, good luck. Oakland and Tampa. Jesse Hahn comes back from the DL tomorrow, and Chris Archer. Yo, Chris Archer might be the guy you just lock in today. So, if you're looking at what Carlos Martinez did to the Philadelphia Phillies today, complete game shutout, 11 strikeouts. I told you guys last night, hit that lock button. Don't play anyone else. Although Jeff Hoffman had a really good game, so you could have gotten there and saved some salary. But Carlos Martinez was the lock for me on all the early slates. It worked extremely well. Malik Smith is still 2K tomorrow. FanDuel probably will never update his price. That's what they do, man. Corey Dickerson, Logan Morrison, Tim Beckham, Steven Souza Jr., Colby Rasmus. All these guys are in play again tomorrow. Jesse Hahn can be attacked. I know he's done a good job of keeping the ball on the ground. I'm interested to see how long, if there's going to be a limit on him, whether there'll be a pitch count. But the A's bullpen is not one of the best in the league, and Tampa versus righty is a thing. So I will have some Tampa bats tomorrow. Don't know if I'll go 4 deep, but you'll see me have some Tampa bats. And then Chris Archer. Again, right now, he might just be my lock tomorrow. Might just have to just press that button, lock him in. Josh says FanDuel just loves giving out free plays. You really do, man. Malik Smith, if he's going to lead off again versus a righty, I don't know how you don't plug him in. He really can't hurt you. He does get a lot of stealing values, man. That's all he does. He gets on base and steals bases. Gets on base and steals bags. You know what I meant. For what it's worth, I'm not going to stack Oakland. Not going to stack Oakland. So, that's that. Chicago and Cleveland. If you guys don't know by now, Cleveland versus lefties is not a good matchup for them. They struggle versus lefties. Again, the power is all from the left-handed side. Michael Brantley, Carlos Santana, Jason Kipnis, Francisco Lindor has power from the right. But Jose Ramirez again, right? Left. All these guys have power from the left side of the plate. Do I pitch Quintana tomorrow? Probably not. I don't think he's my favorite pitcher. He has some K upside. But I don't think he's the guy that I want to lock in on FanDuel. Quintana, I see him as a SP2 option on DraftKings, though. I can look there, but I don't think I play him as my only pitcher on FanDuel. But he's got to be in consideration versus Cleveland. This team is so. I can't believe that they were implied to score. What was it, over 5-6 runs today? I can't remember the exact number. It was one of those two, but they were heavy favorites. And yeah, I had 0 Cleveland bats in my entire lineup. I just don't like what they do versus lefties. So until they figure that out, gonna skip there. And then White Sox against Carrasco. That's gonna be fun. This dude's got a ton of K potential, and the White Sox continue to struggle. However, Jose Abreu and Avisel Garcia are a nice two-man. If Luis Garcia leads off, I could look there. So I'm gonna be interested to see kind of where people are looking on this game, because if Carrasco becomes chalk, I might have to do a little mini stack of Chicago with Jose Abreu and Avisel Garcia. So that's going to be something I'm looking at. Right now, I don't necessarily want to go there. I think there's better spots. But if I'm going to play multiple lines tomorrow and I have, GPPs, then that could be a contrarian stack for sure. Yeah, I agree. Possible pitchers duel. I'm with you. And then Jeff Locke is so Narrative Street. Jeff Locke going back to Pittsburgh tomorrow. It's where he started. Obviously, Miami signed him when he was a free agent to come in and help fix this stuff. He's pitched relatively well this year. Obviously, threw a really, really, really nice game against the Diamondbacks. Pittsburgh is not. Well, they played well today, but I don't know, man. Jeff Locke's interesting. 5,500 on DraftKings. Again, I don't think I go there on FanDuel, but on DraftKings as an SP2, I really don't think he's the worst play you can get. McCutchen is worrisome against lefties. So is Josh Harrison. Adam Frazier doesn't really worry me. Gregory Polanco doesn't worry me. David Freese has done okay this year versus lefties. Notoriously been a lefty killer for what it's worth. Jordy Mercer hasn't been good at all in anything. And then Elias Diaz, very, very limited sample size. If he plays, still a catcher punt option. But I think Jeff Locke, I think you'll find worse DraftKings SP2s tomorrow. Let us know. And then Ivan Nova. Again, Ivan Nova has just pitched really, really well this year from a real-life standpoint, but not a DFS standpoint. Unless he goes complete game, 8-9 innings, I don't see the fantasy upside in him, especially not for his price on FanDuel. 8,100 is way too much for a guy that doesn't strike out batters, and pair that with a Miami team that's been hot. There's no way I pitch Ivan Nova tomorrow, not on my list at all. However, he's not the guy that I'm going to look to in my initial attacking. Does a really, really good job of keeping the ball on the ground. Again, this guy could literally care less if he doesn't strike out a batter the entire game. He'll gladly go 9 innings with no strikeouts and all ground balls. So, I think you gotta. As hot as Miami has been right now on the initial thinking, I don't think I go there. I'd be interested to see if Stanton plays tomorrow. I know he left the game early today. I don't know if he will be back. So keep an eye on that. Yeah, easy fade on FanDuel. Yeah, I know he got hurt. I don't know if he's going to be back. I didn't see the severity of it. Seth Lugo. Did not do a ton of research on this guy, so I don't know a ton about him. I can pull up his minor league numbers as we speak. And then Jaime Garcia. Yoenis Cespedes. I'd imagine he'll be in the lineup tomorrow. Let's plug him in here for... Hit a grand slam today. That was a nice play. We'll put Wilmer Flores there, and I don't know. We'll just put Lucas Duda. I don't know the lineup. Whatever. I'll mess with it later. Okay, let's find this Seth Lugo guy. Find out what stats we got on him. Lost out to Giselman. Interesting. That's hard to do. Speaking of how bad he's been this year. Yeah, Lugo rejoins Mets for finals series finale. Sorry. Okay, so MLB career stats. Not a high strikeout guy. In the minors this year, he's 1-2 with a 4.58 ERA. Um, he has 19 innings pitched and 10 earned runs with 19 strikeouts. So I don't see a lot of upside in this guy. Do I attack him with the Braves? Kemp got a day off today, came in and pinched it, struck out, so he might be well rested. Matt Adams, Tyler Flowers if he plays. Ender's too expensive for me right now for what he's doing. Dansby Swanson, good StatCast numbers, but I don't know if I want to pay $3K for him at shortstop. And then, yeah, as I mentioned, man, the Mets versus lefties are just not good. Wilmer Flores, Yoenis Cespedes is a two-man I look at. Again, a lot of these guys that are popping off right here that you see, Yoenis Cespedes actually only has 17 plate appearances versus lefties. Wilmer Flores is 28. Lucas Duda has 18. Travis d'Arnaud has 17. Michael Conforto has 32. So there's really not a big sample size here to go off of. I think it's going to be a fade for me. Initially, I'm going to stick to the numbers here that the Mets don't hit lefties as well. They're a lefty-heavy lineup. They'll try and counter it with some righty bats. You'll probably see Juan Lagares for Curtis Granderson. Actually, no, because Jonas is back in center field. Never mind. I'd be interested to see if they start playing Jay Bruce in the infield again to get his bat in there. We'll see. Because they're going to have a crowded outfield now with Conforto, Bruce, Cespedes, and Granderson. Or you'll see Granderson lose out on playing time. We talked about that when Cespedes comes back, what's going to happen. So, but yeah, right now this is a game fade for me, actually. I'm not going to pitch Garcia, that's for sure. But I don't see myself playing any bats right now. LA and Houston, Jesse Chavez and David Paulino. David Paulino has pitched okay. He's had good strikeout numbers in 2 starts. Angels have hit righties well. Although they struggled today. Who was it? Mike Fiers and Ricky Nolasco was on the hill today, I believe. Yeah, Mike Fiers got another win today. So all of a sudden, Mike Fiers has recaptured who he was, apparently. Going to be something to watch out for because the Angels, again, have been hitting righties really well. And Nolasco actually pitched well for himself. He went 7 innings, only allowed 2 runs. He didn't get a lot of strikeouts, but was a pitcher's duel. So I still think you can stack some Astros against Jesse Chavez. It's worth noting, though, the Astros, surprisingly, right? They're known for a hitter's ballpark. They perform miles ahead better on the road than they do at home. I believe they're averaging over a run more per game on the road than they are at home this year. An average, that's a pretty substantial number to average over a run more. That doesn't make me want to pitch Chavez, but it does give me a little bit of caution when throwing some Houston guys in a lineup. Definitely makes me take a second look at where I'm doing and if I want to go 4-man deep here, and I don't think I do. Yeah, Rudy says Astros bats have been cold. Could be a good get right spot. Yeah, Jesse Chavez has been bad, so I agree. Those home road splits do worry me, though. They do worry me a little bit. I don't know why they haven't played as well at home. You know what? Here's a case of numbers being construed, though. It very much could have to do with the fact that when the Astros got right and they exploded, right? They put up like 40 runs versus the Twins in that 3-game series. That was all on a road trip. So that is something to keep in mind. When they got hot and their prices just skyrocketed, it was on a road trip. So they haven't really been home until this series since they were the talk of the DFS world and MLB. So something to keep in mind as well. Ho-Ho says Brian McCann is on fire. Yeah, that's true. He has hit a couple home runs. Jesse Chavez. He actually gives up more home runs and more hard contact and more fly balls to righties than lefties. So that's interesting. I'm looking at Yuli Gurriel for that reason and Jake Marisnick if he plays. I think that could be an interesting bottom of the order stack. I'm interested to see what Rudy thinks on that. And then Philly, Houston. Aaron Nola and Adam Wainwright. I think this could be a pitcher's duel. St. Louis has not been good this year at all. They've tried to kickstart their offense with changing up the lineup, and it's done some work. It has. They've won 2 in a row. Obviously, it wasn't hard to win today with Carlos Martinez on the hill. But Aaron Nola is a guy I like, man. He's been above average almost everywhere this year. He's not giving up a ton of home runs. He's not giving up a ton of hard contact. He's striking out guys above average rate, below average fly balls. So I think he could be an interesting DK or SP2 option tomorrow. I believe he's on that slate, correct? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I want to make sure. Yeah, Josh knows I love Nola. God, I still remember. Josh, you still remember that game? We wanted to play Nola in Pittsburgh in that rain. Oh, that upset me so much, man. That game went. They played the full 9 innings, and we're sitting there just. Could have played Nola. But I like Nola's spot tomorrow, man. I really do. And then Adam Wainwright has been fantastic at home this year. Really, really solid numbers at home. Again, not a huge K upside guy, but this Phillies offense is bad. There's not a lot that threatens me here, and I think what's Adam 81. You know what? If I'm on DraftKings, I think I'd play Nola for 6K over Wainwright for 8-1. I do think there's more risk associated with Nola, but on initial thoughts, I think there's more K upside. So I think there's a higher point total upside. Now, he very well could get a couple runs hit off of him. Jed Gorko, Matt Carpenter, Steven Piscotty. I mean, the top 4 of this lineup come to mind. But after that, I'm not really too concerned with the bottom of the order for St. Louis. So I think Nola could be interesting. If he can maneuver his way around this top 4, I really think he can have a good game tomorrow. And then last game on this slate, I believe, is Colorado and Chicago. Yes, it is. Wait, let me make sure. Yes, it is. Okay. Antonio Senzatella and Jake Arrieta. Again, so much is going to ride on the wind in this game. I don't think I pitch Jake Arrieta tomorrow. I don't like the 8-7 is interesting on DraftKings, actually. But 10-2 on FanDuel, no thank you. I'll play Chris Archer over Jake Arrieta all day. I think Chris Archer's got a much easier opponent in Oakland. Jake Arrieta has some K upside, but he's been getting hit hard this year, and he's given up home runs. And you're talking about a Rockies team that I know is not as good on the road, but they've shown that they can put up runs. And I think they can get to Arrieta tomorrow. I really do. You got Arenado. Mark Reynolds has been on fire. I believe he retook the lead for the NL RBI lead, or Major League, one of the two. Yeah. That's so true. Josh says that Vegas won't even release a line on this game anymore without knowing what the wind is. It's so true, man. That series, I forget who they were playing. They got burned 3 games in a row, and Chicago was the chalk. Chicago just blew away the over-under. It wasn't even close. And so now Vegas doesn't even release lines anymore until they know the wind. But yeah, Arrieta is not a guy I think I want to pitch. And if people are on him tomorrow, I think I can very easily get behind a Rocky stack. I have zero issue doing that against Arrieta, who has shown potential to get blown up. Senzatella, again, it depends on the wind. If the wind is blowing in, I'm definitely not going to stack the Cubs. I just don't like going against a guy that's not getting a lot of hard contact or fly balls hit off of him. I don't think I pitch him for the lack of K upside. Again, 6,100 for Senzatella on DraftKings. Aaron Nola's 61 as well, I believe. I'd rather go... Oh, he's 6K. I'd rather go Nola. I just think there's more K upside with Nola, and I think he's facing a less potent offense. So Senzatella doesn't really make my player pool on the early. Mike is not coming. I lied to you guys. I'm sorry. I thought he was, but he's not. Um, yep. We on the same page there. Colorado bats if people aren't Arrieta. I'll be looking at that for sure. All right, so to recap, where I'm at with my early. Chris Archer is going to be my lock. Carlos Carrasco is interesting. I'll be looking out to see where people go on that game. If he's not chalk, I'll give him some consideration. If he's chalk, I don't think he is worthy of chalk. I'd rather play Chris Archer for chalk than Carlos Carrasco. I just can't imagine that Carrasco's chalk, so he might be an interesting GPP pivot off of Archer. So keep that in mind. And then Nola. I keep coming back to Nola. I really like his spot tomorrow. The pitchers I'm going to attack, I'm going to go right back to the Yankees with Kevin Gausman. You can stack anyone on the Yankees at this point. You can find the cheap bats, and I think they have potential. So I'm going there. I'm looking at Tampa bats against Jesse Hahn. And then, you know what? I think I might do this anyways. I might stack Colorado bats against Jake Arrieta. I think he's the high-priced pitcher that can get blown up tomorrow. So initial thoughts, I might have some Colorado. Regardless of if he's chalk or not, I might have some Colorado. All right, moving to the late slate. We have 7 games. Texas and Washington. Austin Bibbins-Dirks is going to start for Texas tomorrow. And Max Scherzer versus Texas. At this point, are you crazy to fade Max Scherzer? I'd argue that he's having better performances than Chris Sale of late. And when Chris Sale was an auto lock, I think Max Scherzer holds that title right now. So I find it really hard. And you guys know that I'm a proponent of paying up for pitching if it's deserved, and finding the value bats, because it's so often that you can find value bats, aka Malik Smith, right? That can outscore the high price bats. So Max Scherzer is, I just think he's a lock. I think Texas is a team that strikes out a ton. If Max Scherzer can go down and mow down the Giants, who are not a strikeout team, I can't imagine he has a ton of trouble striking out the K-happy Rangers tomorrow. And then I'm interested to see where the chalk is here, because I can see chalk definitely going towards Washington stack, which will be hard to do with Max as your pitcher. So I think you're going to have to pick and choose if you want to stack Washington. It won't be Jason Worth. It'll be Brian Goodwin. Because they're expensive. So I think they are a good stack, but you're going to have to pick and choose here. Again, you're going to have to find a cheap stack if you're pitching Max tomorrow, which I can tell you guys I am. So he's striking out almost 50% of right-handed batters. 50% of right-handed batters. That's ridiculous. 1 out of every 2 batters ends in a strikeout. Not even 1 every 2 outs. 1 every 2 batters. That's ridiculous. Minnesota and San Francisco. So Minnesota, as far as I know, is going to throw Nick Turley. Let me see what numbers I have on him. Can't say I've ever heard of this guy either. Looks like he was in the Red Sox system for a while. And then Matt Cain. We know what Matt Cain's been doing at home, and Minnesota has not been exactly on fire as of late. Probably subject to bad ballparks, Seattle and now San Francisco. Matt Cain, I think, is a viable SP2 option, especially with Max on DK. Matt Cain, 5,200. Definitely should get some looks. So this guy, has he ever pitched? He has never pitched in the majors before. Okay, and his minor league stats. He's been in the minors since 2008, so he's pretty well established in the minors. This season, a 1-3 record with a 2.05 ERA, 52 innings pitched, and only 15. I'm sorry, not 15. 84 strikeouts. Glad I corrected that. So a lot of K upside here. That's going to be interesting versus a Giants team that struggles versus everybody, but especially versus lefties. Maybe a DK2 option. I always give advantage to pitcher when when a team is facing him for the first time, especially a major league debut, right? Not a lot of major league tape on this guy. You're relying on minor league tape. Quality's not the same. You're relying on scouting reports at that point. So I'm going to be interested to see what Clint's take is on this guy. So we'll get him. We'll get him going in the chat early tomorrow morning, finding out what his take. This guy, I'm telling you, he's my prospect guru. So I'm going to see what he says. But off the numbers, I think Turley could be interesting. 4,500 with max on DraftKings could get you some solid bats. Now, I still don't think I'm going to fade max on FanDuel, but on DraftKings, you're going to need another pitcher. You might have to look there. And then, as I mentioned, Matt Cain might be a little safer play, if that's a thing. If that's a thing, I don't know. He's been really, really good at home this year. His home road splits are incredible. And this Minnesota team has not been tearing the cover off the ball as of late, so he might be catching them at the right time. Something to consider. Cincy and Los Angeles, Tim Adelman and Hyun-Jin Ryu. I'm going to stack Cincy tomorrow, man. Off the initial thoughts, I think Cincy could be a good stack for the cheap. Eugenio Suarez is 2,900 on FanDuel. Jose Peraza, 2,200. I still look right there. They might play Devin Resurrecto again, who hit another home run today. Bam. Go there. Adam Duvall made a pinch hit appearance, so he might play tomorrow maybe. He's 3,600. I'm not going to play Joey Votto. He's still too expensive for what he does. I know, he's always an elite player, but it's too hard to pay up for that. So probably going to have a Cincy stack. And then Dodgers versus Adelman. Be interested to see here. Dodgers have been hitting the ball well as of late. Cody Bellinger, another home run tonight. Corey Seager, I believe, had 2 doubles. Chase Utley hitting well. Jeremy talked about him on the Lock Show today. That was a good call. He led off. So yeah, I think this could have some game stack potential. 2 bad pitchers, although Adelman has been pitching better of late. So heed with caution. Yeah, game stack in the lineup. I'm with you. I think this has game stack potential, man. Adelman's not a good pitcher, regardless of his recent success. And then Robbie Ray. Robbie Ray in Arizona. Again, not his best performances at home this year. I think a lot of it has to do with the ballpark. It's a very fair assessment. This ballpark is not pitcher friendly. On a slate with max, his ownership should be lower, especially because he's only 1K less than max on DraftKings. If you're going to pay up, I don't see how you don't just spend that extra 1K on DraftKings and get to max in a much safer game. On FanDuel, you got a little different decision to make. I believe the price difference is 2K. And on FanDuel, 2K is a lot of money. So I think it could be a GPP pivot. I do. Milwaukee strikes out a ton. I think there's potential there for some K upside. Robbie Ray's been pitching amazing as of late. So I don't think Robbie Ray's a bad GPP pivot at all. In cash, I think you play max and just fill the rest of your lineup. Just start every lineup with max. But Robbie Ray's been pitching really, really well. He said has to cool off at some point, right? I don't know. We've been saying the same. I mean, Chris Sale, Max Scherzer, we've been saying that about all of them, right? I don't know, man. He might. I don't know if I want to mess with it, though. Domingo Santana and Hernan Perez are 2 guys that I would look at if I'm going to stack Milwaukee. But I don't know if I go full 4-man stack here. Manny Pena, Jet Bandy could be interesting catcher plays. Yeah, I don't know, man. Robbie Ray's been too good for me to right now on initial thoughts. I'm interested to see kind of where Vegas looks, but I don't know if I'm gonna go Robbie Ray tomorrow, or Milwaukee. And I might make a GPP line with Robbie Ray. Oh, sorry, I forgot about that. Chase Anderson What about this guy? He's been pitching lights out. I believe these two actually just faced off in Milwaukee 2 starts ago. Maybe it was last start, one of the two. And Chase Anderson had a no-hitter going against Arizona. So that was also a hitter's park. I don't think it's as hitter-friendly as Arizona is. I don't know. I really don't know where I want to go yet. I don't think I stack. I don't think I team stack Arizona tomorrow. I might find a one-off or two. Maybe Jake Lamb is a one-off. Brandon Drury is a potential punt at second base for 2,200 on FanDuel. I don't. Chase Anderson is doing some crazy stuff right now. I don't know if he's the guy I want to attack. Toronto and Seattle. James Paxton and J-Hap. You can attack J-Hap. He's been bad this year versus lefties. Awful this year versus lefties. I'm looking at Kyle Seager and Robinson Cano and Nelson Cruz. Let me adjust this. This will be Danny Valencia and Nelson Cruz. So yeah, I like that three-man right there in the middle. Cano, Cruz, and Seager. I know that those three, well, Cruz is a lefty killer, but Cano and Seager haven't destroyed lefties this year, but J-Hap's been so bad versus them that I think I can look there. And the other side of that is J-Hap, again, has not gone deep into ball games. And I'm not really scared of this Toronto bullpen right now. So I think I look there. And then James Paxton is another elite pivot. I think I would rather play Paxton over Ray tomorrow. I think he probably, you know what, I don't know. I don't know where people are going to go. Would you play Paxton against a hotter Toronto team or Ray versus a Milwaukee team in a hitter's park? Man, I don't know. I think initially I'd play Paxton for the park. But this is almost like a home game for Toronto with the amount of fans that come down to see this game. It's ridiculous how many Toronto fans are in the stands. I'm undecided. I'll have a better decision in the morning. But Paxton and Ray I'm torn on as my GPP pivot as of right now. I may just throw both in a line and move on, but I don't know who my guy is that I'm going to go to. And then I don't think I stack Toronto. Kendrys Morales is still way, way, way too cheap at 2,900 on DraftKings. Maybe a one-off there if you want to attack Paxton. Again, I don't personally think I would do it, but something you got to look at. Kevin Pillar has been hitting lefties really well this year. Josh Donaldson, Justin Smoke hit another home run tonight, number 18 on the year for him. So, did they really? I believe Lewis Bronson. That dude has elite skill set, man. Oh, and I gotta check this now. If they called up Bronson, I'm gonna be excited. AF. I don't see it, ho. I could be wrong. Oh yeah, they do. Brewers call up number one prospect, Lewis Brinson. Uh-oh. Let's see. Okay. Yeah, with Jonathan VR going to the disabled list. If he's in the lineup tomorrow, I don't even know if he's gonna be on FanDuel actually. Damn, because this dude has elite power. Elite power. God, man, this guy, I think he's a 5-tool prospect. So I'm really excited to see what they do with him. Kansas City, San Diego, Dinelson Lamet gets the not-so-good Kansas City Royals. I love this matchup for him, man. Royals have been hot. They've actually scored quite a bit of runs in San Diego. Harder park to score in, but I love Lamet's matchup, man. I think the strikeout upside here, Royals have not been the greatest team versus righties. Lamet, for DraftKings, I think he's a great SP2 tomorrow. So Nick Turley, Dinelson Lamet would be my top DK2 or SP2 options. I'm sorry. His slider, if you guys haven't watched this kid pitch yet, oh my goodness, this slider is so nasty. He has a really, really, I don't want to call it awkward, unique arm angle. Hides the ball extremely well. These hitters just don't see it. And his slider is ridiculous. So I'm looking here. If Salvador Perez is off tomorrow too, maybe he gets the day off after a night after a day game. If that's the case, even more Dinelson Lamet, because that takes a huge power bat out of this lineup. And Lorenzo Cain's heating up a little bit. Something you got to watch for. Lorenzo Cain he's 2,900 on FanDuel. I mean, he's too expensive on DraftKings to play, but he's heating up a little bit. And then Padres, do you attack Jake Junis? I don't. Stacking Padres, that's always a hard idea. Maybe on a max slate you might have to. Hedges, 2,500 on FanDuel, 3K on DraftKings. Hunter Renfroe, 3,400, 45 on DraftKings. Ryan Schimpf is down in the minors, so disregard that. Franchi Cordero, I believe is how you say his last name. He's hit lefty hitting a righty. That could be interesting. So maybe a Padres stack is in play tomorrow with Max on the slate. And then we got Daniel Norris and Drew Pomeranz. So I imagine they'll probably throw Nick Castellanos up here again. Detroit has faced 3 straight lefties for Boston. They actually did better than I expected versus Sale today. James, McCann, and they'll have, who the hell are they throwing here? Mikey Matuk. I think Pomeranz is attackable. I think he is. Look at Nick Castellanos again. If he's in that 2-hole, it's going to be hard to pass up. I think his price is still sub 3K. JD's down to 4,200. I guess a slight price drop. Mikey Matuk is a very good punt option, as is James McCann. So bottom of the order punt for the Tigers. Cheap prices. Although Mikey Matuk 3-2 on DraftKings, I don't know how cheap that is. But on FanDuel 2,100, as you guys know, is Brinson on the DK and FanDuel rosters, Ho? I gotta look, because now I'm gonna throw a dart at Brinson if he's on there. If he starts tomorrow. Let's see. You got me all excited. He's not on FanDuel. Damn it. If he's on DraftKings, you guys are lucky. And then Boston. Are we attacking Daniel Norris with Boston tomorrow? I mean, logic would tell you yes. He's been getting hit hard this year, but Boston has not been exceptional versus lefties. In fact, they're one of the worst teams in the league. They already don't hit for home runs. They're a really hard team to stack just because of that. And then you factor in their power numbers, their ISO, their WOBA, fly ball rates, hard contact. I mean, they just don't have the stackable numbers. I look at maybe Bogarts and Hanley Ramirez as a 2-man, although Hanley, he's hitting 107 on the year versus lefties. Awful. 2,500. 2,500. Wow, that's cheap for Brinson. You guys are lucky. If he starts tomorrow, use him. Even if you pitch Ray, that's fine. Use him. 2 guys that I would look at are Jackie Bradley Jr. and I know I've done this many times, Devin Marrero, and then actually, if Christian Vasquez plays for Sandy Leon, I think he's been coming in he's been playing the lefties. He's a platoon catcher. He hits lefties really well. So I played that bottom of the order stack quite a few times. Bradley Jr., Vasquez, and Marrero, and it's worked out. So, and then you can pair it with Mookie if you want to go the wraparound. But again, it's not my favorite game to attack here. So, all right. Top 3 pitchers on this late slate. Max. Max is a lock. I think I'm going to go Paxton for right now. And then I'm going to throw Dinelson Lamet in there. I think Lamet has a ton of upside tomorrow. So I would fade Ray for Paxton or Lamet right now. And then top 3 to attack. I would love to attack Austin Dibbins, Bibbins, Dirks, whatever his name is. But again, I don't know how feasible that's going to be. Washington would be a stack with Lamet if I do that on FanDuel. I think this game is a game stack right here. Adelman and Hyun-Jin Ryu. I love Cincinnati tomorrow. So I would say I prefer a Cincy stack over a Dodger stack, but I think a game stack is in effect. And then I think a Padres stack could be a cheap stack to get with Max tomorrow. Renfroe, if Myers plays, Austin Hedges, and then Franchi Cordero or God damn it, Jose Perella. Second base fits a cheap option, cheap punt, I should say. So look there as well. So, is there only a main slate on FanDuel tomorrow? Right now, yeah. Right now there is. Yeah, I know Shimp got sent down. I gotta fix that. I'll update the roster. It's not till the late slate anyway, but. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate you guys tuning in again in this late hours, 12 a.m. here. I'm sure it's much later for you guys elsewhere, so appreciate it. We'll be back up and early. I'll be up around 6 o'clock. If you guys haven't got any questions before this main slate, I know lineups are going to start coming out early. I'll get them updated as the day goes on. And let's make tomorrow another profitable DFS day. I think that's it, man. Nothing too crazy here. We'll be back tomorrow night and breaking everything down for you guys. So appreciate it. Have a wonderful day, wonderful night, and good luck tomorrow.